All right. I am live on YouTube, so yeah, if you want to let the other TikToks know. All right, so fun day. For those of you watching this later on, we took a little swing on the Qs, and the plan. I thought this might take a little longer than it did, but I wanted to go and hit 533, and that has been successful. So that was a really good trade. Um, Looking into tomorrow, right? We finally have some unemployment claims coming in at 8:30. So start thinking about your swing trades, right? What are you going to swing? What are you going to hedge it with? Due to the potential that we could react to that data. Friday, remember following that, flash services PMI. So this is really important stuff going into the end of the week. Now, looking into tomorrow, and as far as candle closes are concerned, on the 24-hour, are we? Yes. But what's above us, right? And that's where we don't see anything but a top. So what do? We move down. And that's where the play from the beginning of this week, I guess if you want to call it that, kind of took shape, right? Punch back through this box, punch back through this box, which we opened up on today, and a beautiful move up into that floor. Have we reclaimed that floor? No. Can we really see a green floor? No. So we're going to go down again, right? 2-hour time frame. Floor, right? Double wicks, we'll take it, but I'd like to see a little bit more detail. Still double wicks, right? Which still leaves that little bit up to 530, 450. We talked about that yesterday and this morning. Obviously, that's something that could go get tapped tomorrow before any sort of reversal or anything of the sorts could happen. But what do we have happening tomorrow? Data. So in this area where we have not reclaimed the floor, and as of right now, we are kind of waxing, waning, whatever, right? Sitting on this box, dead slap on cost basis. So is there room to speculate? I'm sure, right? And I think that goes for both sides. So this is almost kind of one of those things where, okay, we went up, we hit the floor, right? And we have that empty space underneath us. How do we get there? Obviously with a breakdown through this box, and that would bring us 530. Now, I don't see this. Now, I know that it's the top, but I don't see this as a really strong box. So if momentum is nasty, 527. To the upside, cost basis is 535. So I think that makes for, so let me visibly put my targets here, right? So hold on, let's, the hell kind of highlighter is that? Not high enough. Okay. So what's up? So we got the cost basis right there, right? And then I see this. I think that makes for pretty even targets. And again, if you're new here, how do we find our targets, or how do we pick our contracts? Typically, we try to be target based, or maybe on the thing, something like the Qs, where you can be benefiting from low or excuse me, rising IV, maybe a step or two out of the money or out of the potential target. So those are my targets for tomorrow. The only alternative, which whips both of these people's asses, is that this becomes an area, right? We bounce here, it happens fast, or maybe you gap down, then you bounce, then the rest of the day is hot dog water. But again, we can only read and react in these scenarios. Did we play the punch back, right, on a lower time frame to the upside? Yes, we did, right? We took advantage of the empty space. So this is just a really unique moment. You don't have to play if you don't see the same thing that got you where you were today, right? You don't have to. We can, again, data, I don't think data screams that hard. Earnings, and will someone drop the earnings sheet for today? or whatever you call it,
I
list.
know AA's tonight. I'm in at
Yeah.
Bermuda's.
It's all right. Recovery happens for people. No, I'm just kidding. So, um,
Probably need it afterwards.
he's taking it both ways. He's got a problem. Um, wait, what the hell? Tuesday night. Oh, I thought that was hold on one second. That was 3 years ago. What's up, YouTube? All right. So anyway, that's my take here. Um, again, even if you were to move down here and give it the box, you'd have the same target. So, all right, moving on. SPY. The message is the same, but with SPY, what else do I say? Right? We're mid punchback. There's a couple, there's variables, maybe like a pullback to cost basis, then a bounce out. It's obviously a probability there, 606. But the top, right? The very top right here at 608.50 is what we're looking to punch over. If it gaps up above it, I leave you. My analysis is no longer relevant, say for something like that, which is a 620 target. So you take that how you want, pause, but that is what I see on this on SPY. It still wouldn't stop me from hedging myself, probably 603, right? At the worst case scenario is you bounce off your floor. If for some reason this Potter box is invalidated, which I don't mean to cast doubt, there should be none, but empty space to the downside, you're looking at like, okay, if that does break 603, you're looking at, a decent recovery. So again, if you're trading SPY, you do what you do. Especially if you traded it into today, I don't think that's a terrible, let it run type situation. So, if you have two targets, yeah. So the reason that I'm bringing up the fact that there are two targets, or rather highlighting both, is because in going into scenario, like, okay, let me on the Qs specifically, right? On the Qs specifically, do we have a punchback, right? Are we leaving consolidation? I guess you could say in a way, right? But you just have the top of 537. You don't have anything. So moving down into a lower time frame, we see what trigger will send us up and above that. But in terms of like another set, so there's speculation there, right? Q's left a gap there on the floor that they broke out of today, essentially, right? Or yesterday, which is 528. So in scenarios where you have data, like unemployment data or something like that, if you can find these targets, right, in whatever empty space is provided, then this is something that, the risk to reward fits the bill. It doesn't make for a terrible speculative trade. But what's going on? All right. Oh my God. All right, so last one, we're going to take a look at IWM. I haven't really touched it since the swing. I think it's over with. And well, let me not say that, right? That one is definitely curling back, right? As far as empty space, you done did it. I don't want anything to do. If you do, I don't. But there is like pockets of tiny itty bitty empty space up there, but it's not crazy. So you need solid momentum, right? Juice, Trump juice, a Trump tweet, and that'll get you where you need to go. But as of right now, you're pulling back underneath 227.35. There's a gap to fill, right? And a retest of 225.50. Now, falling underneath this floor, again, I don't think that's good news. So it's an interesting spot to be, but is not providing a trigger. And it, for my discipline, for what I'm trying to do, which is can be consistent, I'm not putting a lot, if any, into setups that don't provide the punchback or the empty space or like that. If you can afford that, and you want it, like again, there's speculative things with the Qs. I don't mind stepping into the Qs. IWM, yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe if it breaks down tomorrow, there's opportunity in that gap. But other than that, I'm not a big fan. All right. Now, with that being said, we have a quick glance just at the earnings going into today. What the hell's happening here? There it is. Woo. Okay. So today we have for earnings, Jesus, KMI. We're going to take a quick glance at these. Yeah, it feels like it already priced itself in potentially. I mean, unless you're gonna rip up to 36, I don't. That doesn't look like something I want to take part in. AA, an old favorite. You know what, man? I used to love AA. Made a lot of money on that thing. Um, okay, so let's see weekly. Now the question is, and I haven't looked at this in a while. Are we gonna move? Decent, but then reverses immediately the next day on the open, which disappoints probably anybody who swung. Earnings dump, but then it does cascade for the remainder of the day. See, that was on a Thursday, so punch down underneath that box. Earnings flat. There's definitely a little bit more risk in this one, right? Seems like it likes to take advantage of, I would be super stoked if this thing would have reclaimed the 40 floor going into earnings. Then I'd feel better about taking a $45. So if you take it, maybe have some time on it, but you're in an area where you're in between, right? Now, again, there is empty space within the whole, and this was a box which you tried to build outside of, and you failed, and you fell, punch down, retest, built a box, punch through that. Now you're sitting at the floor with earnings. So earnings needs to shoot your ass up, right? Up into that 43 or up into 45. Otherwise, I feel like it's almost something that you could play after. Um, let's see.
My stock has earnings. I didn't realize that. The bank that I own, Cadence.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, that's a hard no.
Yeah, you gotta slip some insider information.
You,
I got equity. I've held equity now for 3 years.
yeah, there's Cade right there, Cadence, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is that? Fork? What is that? So goddamn blurry, I can't see. Can someone tell me what that is? What's the ticker on that?
FORK, I think, yeah.
FU. Yeah, I'll take you guys' request in just a minute. I don't know. Fuck, we'll chart fork then. Okay, well, I guess we'll double tap on that. Yeah, that's a hard no. That's not, I think.
EQBK.
EQBK. Jesus Christ. Fork.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Jesus. It did look like fork though, because it was all greeny.
Nope. Kind of looks like it could just shit the bed for some reason. I don't know if I'm getting a premonition or something like that, but I just feel like this thing could dump. Feel it in my bones. That's not a signal. All right. Boring. But we can look into tomorrow morning, which is GE and AAL. What the fuck? I think I hotkeyed screenshot as G. So every time I hit G, my computer goes bloop. And let's maybe punch how his earnings is dope. Eh. Eh. I don't know. It doesn't tickle. Unless it punches through. You know, that's 193. Maybe you go and tap 200. I'm not really a big fan of that one. And then lastly, we'll do a L. If you guys want me to do any more, just put a request. Ooh.
You gotta look at King.
I guess. Does it have a good setup?
Yes.
That sounded like a lie. That sounded like fake news. Yeah, that was a hard no as well. You're being held under. If that thing could fall, I'd love it, but not a big fan. Why is everything fucking in between two boxes? I mean, yeah, take your shot, I guess, but you got structure below and structure above, structure on structure, structurelicious. Look at that, Jesus, that's Box City, dude.
Yeah, it's always balanced really nicely. I've been in equity for almost 3 years.
Hmm. All right. If you have anything you need me to look at, you guys know where to post it. A little bubble chat. We're gonna start with Verizon. Okay, is this all-time highs? Nothing I can do.
That's Visa.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, Verizon, my bad. I'm tripping balls. All right, let's see here. Okay, so you broke down from that box, punch down, and bounced off that box's cost basis. And empty space would give you 36 underneath you. It's, yeah. So let's delete all that. And then let's do this. That's tough. Should I give it that? And then let's do this. So I see a little pocket up there of empty space. Verizon's a slow mover. So what we can see from today is that you came up, or yesterday you came up, tested the floor. Today you pulled back, but you pulled yourself back up. So can't see anything else, so we move down. And that's where shit gets weird. So you have a wall right here at 39.23, right? That's probably going to mirror with a wall. Yeah, same wall over there. And I don't have anything else, so I need to move down again. All right, so starting to see some structure form here. Almost want to do that, which shows that this floor tried to get reclaimed but failed. So I think we're looking for upside 39. And you said earnings towards the end of the week. So as far as an earnings setup, you need to shoot through that box, and I would say 41.87. But more importantly, yeah, I guess it moves there. Yeah, it moves there. Moves there. I'd have to see the volume on the contracts, but I could see a move up to 41. And then to the downside, I'd probably have a downside target of around 36. 36, 37, because I could see this floor getting bounced and then pull itself back up to stay in that channel. But yeah, that's what I see. Not an I mean, the box above definitely gives it a little bit of a lure. But all right, CAVA upside. So you are not closing through the box yet, right? On the 4 hour, which this is where that box is clear. On the 2 hour box, same thing. On the 1 hour, right? You are flat up not doing it. But on the pullback, you have yet to lose anything. And that's one of the most important elements here, right? Is we haven't lost that floor. Looks like you just came kind of tested that same 125.36 right now as we speak. So when I see this, I think a 123.50, right? And if that is broken down, you're going to retest this pre-market high of 122.50, and that'll kind of be where you're like, okay, if that breaks down, there's a good chance we're going to start seeing, because you got to look at that candle. So 122.50 is the top of that hourly candle. So yeah, that translates pretty well. So underneath that, right, that's where you'll have this wall. You bounced off of it really strong, so you don't really want, and I would just do this, even though it's not a box. Right there. Typically underneath like the 50% mark of any, established range. That's where we could see a breakdown. But you're in an interesting spot. And then to the upside, you can use this hourly box as well if this is able to punch through at 125.50. And that's where you're going to see 128. You got a nice pocket of empty space and even more, right, way ahead. So hopefully that gets the ball rolling here soon. Set alerts. Discover. Oh, did I just look at this one? Yeah, this is all-time highs as well, my friend. For anybody who is new, if it's an all-time highs, that is my weak spot, right? That is where I cannot and am not ever going to pretend like I know what's. Everything that I do is built off of structure, right? Maybe a channel here and there, but like at the end of the day, channels, I see some correspondence here. But one thing I also notice is that it's ripping into earnings. So it could be pricing itself in prematurely, which, yeah. What are you looking for? Downside, empty space for earnings. I mean, if I did, I would say 181 downside if you're looking for a downside target, and maybe, yeah, because they are ripping it up into earnings. I would say 181. I know that's a 24-hour box, so yeah, it's tough to say, man. Tough to say. Everything that I do is going to be based off of a trigger or reaction from the stock. This one, I remember doing analysis on this. It talk about a miserable ride up, but I still stand by the top of this channel getting hit. It's abiding pretty well, so that's what I see right now. Should I adjust that? Let's see. Yeah, maybe 26 if I'm wrong. But this is so much empty space and you lack so much volume. You need a catalyst ASAP. Apple. Am I doing any swings if I see something? Hey, not bad, right? Bounce off the floor. It's pretty far. I mean, it's pretty far away from where it's at. And get it when you take something after it's fallen underneath, right? And you're taking more of a bearish approach, you have to be really, really sure or certain where you're placing your stop losses. Now, I like the double wicks off the bottom, right? I like the fact that it pulled itself back up and is holding, but you know for damn sure that under 221.82, that Apple's going to come back down, right? Maybe not permanently, but not in a way that you could appreciate. Um, Not really seeing any like channel vibes here. Maybe a little bit. Really, really compact. But when I look at the 24-hour, it appears to me that this green candle, or even just 228, is likely going to get retested. Even if tomorrow, and I would be looking at the 225 imbalance target first, right, on the 24-hour. And look at that, right? You've got 225.50 on the dot as the first green candles above you on the hourly. So getting above that, I think, is imperative to going and getting in here. where if you want the rest of that empty space, you got to get through that box. So interesting. I mean, I always like it's almost tempting to play it, but I'd be breaking my rule. It's not a rule.
I was gonna say 230 calls at 30 cents.
Man, fuck off. All right.
That's not nice.
It was a good fuck off. You know that like what we do after hours.
Yeah, the only thing with Apple is they have earnings next Thursday.
Okay. That's tricky.
Yeah, when I took the bounce yesterday,
Tricky.
I kept that in mind that they have earnings next week. So I bought next Friday's 245 calls for that bounce yesterday, and they're up. They're not big up, but I got them for 48 cents, and they're at 72 cents.
All right. For the first time in 3 years, I'm buying Apple contracts.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, Apple.
Yippies.
Prove me wrong, Apple.
This week?
Yep. I'm taking a shot, Poppy.
At 230s or what?
230s,
Just
yeah.
feels like you just picked up your abandoned child in your arms for the first time in years.
No, I feel like it's like a child that I didn't want to find me has found me and is trying to like make a relationship, and I'm like, hold on, dude. I'm in Spain right now. You know, like us. I'm not ready for this. Not that I would ever do that, but my dad would. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. All right. Sorry, we're projecting over here. All right. So that's Apple.
So wait, you grabbed the 230s for this week?
Yeah. Yeah.
Roger that.
I feel weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having an emotional response right now. Maybe I should get out. I'm just kidding. Ugh. Ugh. I hate that. Wait. Did we? Yeah, man. I can't tell you how much I don't like that setup. It just. Ugh. You have a potential punch down. Doesn't care about. I mean, who cares about what I like? But $17 downside, empty space 15. Right, over the top 19. You know, the first target that I see is up here at 22. That's the, I think, you know, maybe 50% at 20, but that's the best that I see. ASML upside weekly, struggling today. Struggling weekly time frame. Okay, so whenever you're looking at a weekly floor, right? Those are Fridays. That's positions that I like to take on Friday. Because I don't know, right? And as of right now, it seems like even this one wick is giving you some trouble. So you move down here in the 24-hour, that wick transforms into the top of what I think is likely going to be a box, right? So 4-hour, oof. Channel. That's a tough one because you don't want to leave and then come back. So, you know, tomorrow this box, small box on the lower time frame, like well, maybe an hourly time frame. Yeah. So this is going to be really important right here. These two structures that I'm giving you. Upside 780.21, and then 769.50, right? Cost basis underneath you at 760. So if that breaks down, yuck. All right. BBL Drizzy, I'm gonna do one, and then when we get to the end, I'll do the other ones. All right. Shopify is chopifying on the fucking cost basis. It's turned into a fucking cutting board. Now, on the 24-hour, we don't have that catalyst, right? We are above the floor. I do see some candle closes that are relevant over here to my left. right? 4 hour time frame. That's where we see the struggle. And I don't hate it, right? Like I do like Shopify, and today you came back down to the floor, you bounced, and you're just holding yourself up. So, oof, yeah. So we're gonna go to the hourly again. At this point, another trip and a candle. I mean, and you might have to do this during the day, but a 15-minute candle close either off the top of 107 or outside of 107.65. And how's that look over here? Yeah, so there's like this weird little box sitting right there. That would be a breakout box technically, right? So that's 108. But that right there, I totally get it. And don't they have
Got like a 111 target.
no, don't they have earnings? Shoot, couple like a week or so. I wonder if it's saving that empty space for earnings. That's what I'm thinking is if it doesn't move and it's like all this tension they're bringing into it by chopping it the way that they are. It's like, okay, well, inevitably, it's got to be the upside or that empty space above that it's fueling up for, if you will. Your mom SMCI to the upside. Why isn't crypto skyrocketing after the Trump inauguration? Don't the news. We don't trade off of the news, so I don't. I mean, we talked about it, but we again everything is trigger based. So I personally I don't even look at crypto very often, if at all. So all right, so SMCI, um, god awful retest today. Looks like right around that previous resistance, 4 hour, right on the money. Same area, right? The green candle close, we're unable to get above it. Okay, so a little bit of clarity here. Again, and I'm just always trying to be honest in these analysis, right? I don't have a trigger that's firing yet for upside, right? I like the wicks. I like the fact that it held the 330 floor, but you're struggling, right? Above that, and this isn't true empty space. You kind of have to go out into this lower time frame, but in reality, right, there is a move similar to the potential behind MU up to go to 36.44, right? But again, moving back down here, box. So I don't really have, or rather, I would say I don't feel very confident in this particular setup at the moment, right? With the way that it's built, until something happens beyond this, opening outside of 3550. And then you will have, and it's not just these that I'm just looking at these, but you have this wick and these candles pulling themselves up. So outside of that, you would have 3550. So this trade doesn't wow me in terms of setups. Let's see, channel. You are abiding by that channel. So that's I can't take away from that. But all right, SoFi. All right, so this is definitely on the 20. Yeah, so you came back, you retested 4 hour. You fell fast, and so you seemingly are moving up pretty decently. 15-minute. I see a channel. Do you guys see it? When I see shit like this, autism kicks right in. Sounds just like that too. It's like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. Don't be offended. My doctor said I could say all of those things.
Dude, what a throwback.
Yeah. Jimmy Neutron brain blast. SoFi. All right, weird little setup, but this is where you need to be 1770, right? And then you need to take a crack at that floor here. Uh, in the meantime, and I hate, I feel like I disappoint people sometimes because I want to be able to say that your setup is a good setup, but at the end of the day, this is again between two pretty serious triggers, right? You trigger this, I think you trigger that. You trigger this, or even just the longer you stay sideways, the better. So if you use this area, then okay, and look, I can see a down channel too. Bam. So that's it right there, right? But if you were to go sideways and pinch and then pop, you'd give yourself more room to run. Well, I mean, I got to be honest with myself when I'm taking these trades, like, hey, is this a good setup or am I pushing it? You know, Nvidia, you guys nailed that trade today. Man, I tell you what, explosive move up to right to the top of the channel. It grinded sideways for a little while, created itself a little box, beautiful box, large box, probably the best box. And do we have a daily setup? Right? That's a question we need to ask ourselves. Not really, right? Coming off the floor. So where did we reject today? Is that the imbalance? Close. Almost once. I would say it was a little bit higher. But all right, so let's go to the 4 hour. I don't really see much, right? Go to the 2 hour. Okay, so we're popping here, but I don't really see a floor. So hourly. So it's probably not reached it yet, and that's why it's kind of grinding up. But I'm tempted to give it that wick right there, and that's not a box, right? This is a box, you know. Um, that's a box. That's not a box. But let's see, that is a floor, right? Not a great one, but it is one. So when I look at this, I have to go and like almost, do brain surgery here and look at exactly where it started dumping from, right? Right, and then I gotta find a floor that's at least a little bit better than this, right? And that's 148.38. So as of right now, you're shying away from it, but you're also building into this, right? This is a solid, pullback, retest structure, bounce up. We have that little channel that we were, operating in today. Um, I don't think that was the one, but so as of right now, right, you are sitting on the top of 147, underneath 147, 146.50. That's where some sort of downside would likely begin. Now, I'm not going to take this just simply off of the fact that I don't see a setup, right? Maybe on the weekly, right, we can come to a better conclusion. Like on the weekly, okay, the weekly, that's pretty significant. So if you were long and you had time and I wouldn't say you're doing a bad thing, especially after today. If you had contracts running and when I look at this, I really don't see any other option than hitting A 148.50 or B 153.41. So I wish I had a better setup on this thing. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. All right. Bobby, listen to some TI. Let's go, dude. AAL both for earnings tomorrow upside. Snow up. Oof. All right, so I can't see much here, but we'll go here. All right, so I mean, you're making your way downtown. You're walking fast. Candles pass. I'm sorry, and you're almost there, right? What making cash, right? But you're on a slow grind. This previous resistance right there is right where you're tickling right now. So I wouldn't put it past it to be, you know, and part of me feels like there's something sneaky here. I don't want to force anything. Just speculating. Nope. All right, I'm not going to do that. Right? We're not going to do that. Okay. So those things we can establish. Now we need to establish what's underneath us. Man, that's even tougher. Seems like that, right? Because it's not really moving in a way. It's building, really building. Okay, so now we can kind of see a little bit more detail, but still really, really rocky. Wow. All right, now I can see that. Okay, so there's a couple of signs, right? And I will say, out of all, this is a hard chart, right? It's not easy. So don't think that I'm not like having to scratch my brain here. Box, right, underneath you, curled up, cost basis 174.50. There's a gap down here in the box, and this is just how you have to trade things like this, and that's, you have to figure out whether or not it's worth it or not, right? But if you break down 174, right, and I think it takes more than one box to get this thing rolling. So what is needed, right? We need to gap up above 177.50 to move up into that 180, 160. Hopefully tomorrow can do that. On the flip side, right, we also have that 174.50 underneath us. And because we're just sitting up against this resistance, we haven't lost anything yet, right? We're still sitting here holding. But this is a very, very difficult setup. And I would imagine, unless some sort of catalyst or market-wide catalyst came in, you know, this is going to be a little bit tougher. And it's kind of making it clear what it needs. It needs to be above that on the hourly. Yeah, 180, 180, 60, and 180, 165, or excuse me, 70. All right. I feel like that just took a year off my life right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In you. Okay. You look good. You look good. You look really good. All right. Not liking the pullback here at the end of the day. Hopefully that doesn't pull back, like back. You got enough time, you know, between now and 8 o'clock to pull yourself back underneath that wall. However, you know, you are holding as of right now. Let's see. Okay, so a little pullback here on the hourly. Looks like 12:08, 15-minute. Okay, so even on a, right, making a plan is going to just help you so much, and especially in these scenarios. I'm going to get rid of that. Even if the punchback's secured, right, have a plan. All right, I like how fast you're dumping, right? You're already responding to that floor at, like right now. So new, right? That floor cost basis is well, like that's something you could use as a stop loss. So if I have it my way, right, that keeps dumping. Test, pop, and roll. Tuition depends on it. Lord have mercy, brother. Oh man, your kids. No, I'm just kidding. What kind of school are you trying to send them to? Results may vary. Um, so this is actually a really interesting little setup here, right? You have built a box on the floor of a box, right? Refusing cost basis. Is that real? Yes. Right? Doesn't happen a lot, no. But it is happening now. You wicked back cost basis and you're pulling back a little bit right now. So closing up against is not terrible. Now on the 4 hour, that box is gone, right? The box is gone. So it doesn't translate. So I have to play it differently. Now we're refusing cost basis, right? 2 hour, same thing. And then 1 hour. So I would say between now and maybe when I finish this paragraph, you should be back right here, right? And what it's done is it's built a box right up against cost basis. And that's going to be your trigger up, right? Especially tomorrow. And you need to hold this. Let's see, is there a wall underneath us? Yeah, there's a little bit of a 3350, so that's possible as well. Yeah, you could afford that pullback. 3350. All that to be said, I think with this price action right now, at the minimum, you're coming back down here, right? The faster you do that, the better. So, free fall. If you free fall, then you can bounce and you can curl it right back up, and it's already showing you its channel, right? It's whipped its channel out on right in front of you. Reverted little channel. All right. AMD. Now this one, I know today that was disappointing. Don't regret it. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it again. However, it did fail to uphold. Now that box that we punched through that box, right? That's just the reality of what happened. We punched through the box and it wasn't enough. It did take us somewhere, but it didn't take us far enough or didn't have enough gas to get there. So what we are relying on is the pullback that we had like that, right? And again, that's going to be a really important mark, 124.18. And typically when I see a wide fluctuation in price, I anticipate a channel. Right, so let's see if we can find it. That's good. That's real good. All right. Now, hourly box, right? Underneath us, holding up, box. So, can't help but say sideways. That's what I see, especially when you wick out like that, it sets up to potentially go sideways. You're holding, and so outside, if this pops, you know, that previous was 124.60, and then it becomes like a lower time frame setup, right? See how I'm required? I can't. Sometimes you just can't see, right? So this is literally zooming in. Like how do we get there, right? And we can see that by looking here. So underneath you, cost basis is 122.80. Cool. All right. And when I say cost basis, right, that is also me saying a trigger. All boxes are triggers. All right. PLTR up. All right, just a few minutes.
Nice little pop on those Apple calls.
Yes, sir.
I'm not even looking at those.
Go ahead, take a peek.
I should probably. That's crazy. You said, go ahead, take a peek. You're like a poltergeist, dude. Get out of my house. All right.
Didn't Adam eat the apple? Adam and Eve?
No, Eve ate the apple.
Eve ate the apple? Is that what it was?
And then she brought it to Adam.
Forbidden apple.
And he was like, let us make a pastry. And he ate the apple.
Eve was a girl? Did we assume gender there? Or?
We did. We definitely did. But let's go ahead and reel it in here, Katie. Mm-hmm.
My apologies. Proceed.
They said there's only two genders, but never said you could be both at the same time.
Yeah, they didn't really make rules, you know. There was, it's not, yeah, they didn't make rules. All right. You're on your way. I don't hate the close. I like how it's holding. It's up against, you know, my perception of cost basis, but yeah, tomorrow, watch this first floor. Careful with that first floor. That's 78.25. Now, again, how do we know whether a 4-hour box is going to punch through? We look at the inner mechanics. See that sneaky little fucker right there? 78.11, 79, right? Momentum, empty space, just a pocket, and another box. Now, you see how I went with points of contact over the high? 81.60. Cool? So cool. Now, I know that there's also this, which did not necessarily break, right? It's just part of a larger channel. So if things work out correctly, you might be looking into the night. Well, we'll see, but into the 88s and 90s. I'm still holding PLTR. I ain't never scared. Except for Apple. I'm a little scared. Scary.
Hey, Garrett, can you take a quick peek at Walgreens?
Boots Alliance. 4-hour. You need to make it to the top right here on the 4-hour 1168. And that translates into a box. Beautiful. So if you're looking for the rest of, and it looks like it wants a channel too. Beautiful. Yeah, I could see an imbalance tap right around 1235. Not bad. Lower time frame setup.
Block lately?
Yeah, XYZ. No, I'm not looking at that. It's like
weekly.
What? How do you even see the weekly? There was one candle yesterday.
XYZ.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on it yesterday. All right. So Centennial 1 left the box today and is approaching the box above. I can't really see. Now I can. So your floor is going to be 23.50. Your cost basis is going to be 28.83. Those are your next two targets above. All right. Sorry, those of you guys on Discord or TikTok, I make sure to take all of the Discord's requests first. There's a lot today, so try to bounce back and forth a little bit. I see more chop. Anytime I see something like this, man, immediately more. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, and you have a downtrend. There's a gap up there, so I think you'll likely go and test it. Not having a great time right now, though, that's for sure. And then you do have a trigger to the downside, like so. Let's see. LRCX. All right, it's 4 o'clock. If you're gonna do anything, hedge your Q or your Apple swing, right? Now would be the time. You have 15 minutes. SPY is obviously a good correlator. So is the Qs. $600s. Okay, LCRX. 4 hour empty. Ooh, you filled up literally filled up all of that empty space. Some lower time frame box down here. There it is. Yep, right on the dot. Every box matters. So you ripped fast when you went there, and now you're pulling back really quickly, right? So you have a box underneath you. Little box there. So I would be looking at a potential channel here. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty significant. I think 82 for now, and then that could trigger a gap fill. That gap fill could trigger you know a move down. So and I know that's the opposite. So I mean, yeah, after today, after that big wick down, you need to fill that empty space right back up without breaking down underneath anything. If you can do that, you're just aiming at the top for 86. Not a big fan of that setup myself, but Netflix, I see a 940 retest, 937.88. Right, breakdown underneath that. There'll be a 925 and 915, two targets to the downside. But for now, it's fucking bounce. Diz rejection off of the floor here. I mean, it's done its job here. You filled the gap. This is definitely a spot. I mean, we talked about 106 being, needing to hold empty space underneath you. You got a rejection today, so this has to be solved here, right? So I need to go down, find structure, weak. Let's look at the hourly. Oof, gross. What a nightmare. Unfortunately, it still has a box under there. Okay, so bounce off of cost basis. You still have not recovered. Disney outside of 109.50, sure. Downside, because of the empty space and cost basis already being bounced off of, if that comes back down again. So I definitely would lie in wait. You filled your gap up there as well. I could see it, but you still need to trigger down. And that's cost basis. And then obviously intraday, that's 107.30 to go give you the gap at 106 and hopefully a new low. Wouldn't be surprised if that one goes sideways on you with the way that it dumped.
How many Apple contracts did you get, Potter?
$1 billion. I got about 40.
Nice. I got 5.
What's the strike?
230s.
About 350.
Yep. All right.
I'm still holding my Apple calls from 222.50.
220. Oh, damn, dude. That's right. I remember you asked me about that. IBM is earnings.
Spaghetti?
No, I didn't. I know that it moved.
It moved, yeah.
Downside, dude, this one is going into earnings. I mean, I don't hate it. As far as like a setup is concerned, you have the tension that you need, but you got to trigger outside of 231.50 to go to the top at 231. You know, again, IBM likes to move after earnings. So yeah, this one, downside trigger. There's a 210 target. So it's not my favorite. It has tension, which makes it attractive, because that tension usually breaks on earnings. Tension right there, earnings explosion, and so I mean, there's I think room to speculate on this for sure. But those are my two targets at the moment. All right, oh, new chord. Did I already do this one? I think I did, yeah, lower time frame box here. So right now you're relying on this holding because this is the same wall, right? That cost basis is this top. So if you break underneath that, you're looking down, right? 118 is going to be your next target, and that could trigger a punch down. I think it's probably more likely that a channel is building. So watch for the wickage, around 115.85. All right. Tesla. Whew. Sweating. Oh man. Yeah, so Tesla's still in the same boat as this morning, guys. The analysis stays the same. Um, Last night even, right? Your 430, that is where you need to break long, right? And you've rejected that. You're down at the floor, 123, 412. There's empty space below you, so maybe room to speculate here. Sellers definitely have a little bit more of a leg up, um, but it is going to be under 409.67 2 hour, and yeah, same thing for the hourly, and that's where I would be looking for 398, and that's kind of not a final straw, but all right. KTOS. Is this all-time highs? No. Up. Weekly looks okay. The 24 hours, obviously a little concerning. Looks like you've come back down to retest the top of the box, right? So you've tapped off of that. And whenever you do this, you need, or rather, you're looking for the stock to respond positively. So far, that is true, right? Now, I see a floor, and this is hard because it has low volume, but want 35.37. Wow, actually, hold on. I think both of those are relevant. It's almost as if like, yeah, on a lower time frame, there's a box there, but so you're gonna have 35.35 and then 35.68. Those will be your targets. Google. My analysis on Google is the same as it was today. Obviously, okay that we closed a candle outside of it, but the lower time frame is starting to invalidate that, right? With two major rejections off the top, starting to look like starting to see the potential to start breaking back down. you're getting awful close. So under that 197 floor, Google down. If you can muster up 1, 2, 1, 2, if you can break over 200, then I think that is going to be your best chance to get up and out. That's also pretty interesting. You're even looking like you might break, but there's a gap down there that didn't get filled either at 196. So there's that's another one. It tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we're having a conversation about it. You know, I'll put it on the watch list. Failed. Failed the punchback on the 4 hour. Failed the punchback on the 2. And the box dissipates, but you still fail the hourly as well. Right? 15-minute shows what it's doing now. It's ripping. I think we did this. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did this already. Again, 122.55 needs to bounce, and you need to dump there quickly, which you are. So, Rivian. Oh, God. Yeah, I would say the opposite, man. I'm actually getting ready for equity protection here because I believe that underneath 1243, which I think is going to go to, this thing is in danger. I'm in danger. I do like the empty-ish space on the high-ish time frames. That quickly goes away. That's my floor, right? So 13, that's uppies. There's a really weird box right here, but it's a box, 1320. All right, CRSP 24. That's, so I mean the long and short of this is you are testing the same bottom that you broke down from, and this is the third time. So if I'm looking at the most recent price action, right, it's right up in that 49.28, but as of right now, 46.15, and that'll make that possible. There's a lot to work through when it comes to this chart, a lot, right? It's a good start. Let's see, is there a channel here? Yeah, there's potential, but into IWM calls. That one I specifically, you know, yeah, there's the potential up here. Did reclaim the floor, hasn't lost it yet. But I'd rather not deal with that price action that's above us. I personally am using the Qs for, which I already grabbed the downside, for Apple. All right. MU up. It stopped. All right, 4 hour. I don't think it looks bad. Do think it's hmm. Okay, so I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I want a breakdown fast. I want to bounce, fade, and build. And I think that sets you up for maybe the rip going into hopefully tomorrow. Again, tomorrow that'll let us know a whole bunch. If you're above that 111, then yeah, we're gonna shoot our shot. But as of right now, with that empty space below us, it still works out, but it might need a stutter step to get there. So, Oracle. That's another failure, right? 24-hour box failed, sitting on the floor. Um, I'd say that's a little bit more bearish at the moment. Yeah, you bounced perfectly off of it. So this is something you're going to have to solve on a lower time frame for sure, right? There's our floor right here. You can see even these wicks. You're not even reclaiming those. But you do have wicks underneath you. So I think if you're short, you need to have that as a stop. And then those wicks underneath us need to be dealt with. But yeah, not a lot is really tempting me right now.
Did anybody take AA calls?
No, I did not. Starting to move a little bit. TJT. Man, looking like you're gonna punch down. I'd be looking at a 30-35 target first. I took Apple to the upside, but then I took the Qs to the downside to hedge it. I think you're going to the floor here at 155 on CVX. Getting close already. All right. So, this Friday, it's kind of again, we're going into a pretty heavy earnings week again. Data tomorrow and Friday. I've made some pretty good gains by just being really patient and looking for setups that, again, are easy. Yeah, they could just say they're easy, right? They're not complicated. I'm not having to over analyze them. There's not a series of shit going, and again, that's based on what your risk is. But um, I am I'm more excited about the thick of the month or next week than I am really about this week. So this week's been fun. Um, but there's a lot. Oops, wrong one. There's a lot that needs to happen, right? Qs, spies about to potentially move into all-time highs. The Qs have a catalyst to go and do the same, but are stuck in between two triggers. So once I get my upside, right, that 535, 536 area, I feel good about taking this one up. Apple's, obviously pretty interesting. We'll see what we get on that one. I think the data will help kind of determine the direction. Yeah, little baby pop.
Mm-hmm. Hey, pot stock, fuck.
Whoa, what the? What's up, dude?
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Now that after hours are closed, what are you? I know you're kind of in between two triggers, but what are you like more favoring for tomorrow after? I just want to ask because I took my positions and I want to do it without hearing yours first. Really?
Like just overall, am I more bullish than bearish?
Yeah, essentially because I see the empty space, but I don't want to short when we're so close to all-time highs. So
So
kind of.
I don't. I typically when we're moving up, right, and we've pushed over triggers, like I try to maintain my bias on a level that just basically says if this then that, right? So as of right now, still bullish, right? Does the rejection above us thrill me? Not not a lot, but it's not enough. A rejection off of a floor is not enough to make me go bear. It has to lose something that it had originally broken out from. So when this tomorrow 5:30 we lose that, okay, bear hat on. If we move down and we lose this, okay, I'm like bearish, right? That's bad. That says, and there's empty space to get us there, for sure. So there's lower time frame setups there that I can play, but ultimately, I I can speculate a lot, right? Like I could do things like this, which doesn't. Yeah, I'm gonna go off the floor. But that doesn't really, again, I'm not willing to just lay down a bias without having something trigger. So
Fair enough. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. All right, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early. Hope you guys had a good day. If you do have any gains, post them away. And yeah, Ivy. I think I just remember what I was going to say. I think, in the morning, whenever gains are starting to be posted, that's where Alex could start potentially making the thumbnail. After all the analysis is done and stuff like that, he could start working on that. Cool.
Did she ever make a request channel?
Yeah, that's the inside the live trading. Like it's been there. It's switching back and forth. I don't want to miss anything or miss questions, but we got it all consolidated. So
Oh, I got you. So we need to put our request like in the
didn't
we're on the actual.
yeah, on the
Gotcha.
on the live trading. So all right.
Sorry, just wanted to confirm the thumbnail that I brought. Is this what you're going to post on YouTube?
Yeah,
Or on the Potter
on YouTube.
on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
And are you still live on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'll just
You're breaking up a little bit, Ivy, for some reason.
sorry. I'll just DM you.
Okay, that's fine. All right, guys. Yeah, no problem.
It's in
Thank
the
you.
live trading chat, not live trading.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Take care.
Yeah, you too. You guys have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Thank you, Potter.
Mm-hmm. No problem.
I'm new. I gotta say, I love everything you guys are doing here. It's accessible. It's easy. The people are awesome. Like I'm so happy to be here. Thank you guys for everything.
Oh yeah, man, it makes me feel good. Yeah, we got a nice we got a nice cult forming.
I love it. I love the cult. Love
Give it some time, bro.
Take it easy. Take it easy. He has toilet paper already in the bathroom.
Oh my god, get out of here. That's hilarious. All right, guys. Thank you, Blue. I appreciate you, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. All right. If you guys are on YouTube or watching this back later, the discount code is still available, but I will be taking that down relatively soon. It's 35% off everything. So especially those of you who are trying to lock in lifetime or yearly, it's about the highest percentage discount we offer. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. Let's make some money tomorrow. Hopefully Apple does a thing, but we shall see. I think my Q puts might end up working out. But all right, peace.